Good day to you, one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Oh, fuck, that looks ridiculous. Preposterous notion. Anyway, here we go. Right, today I'm going to be reacting to some words and utterances from the absolutely legendary producer, Rick Rubin. He's one of my favourite producers. Real meat and potatoes kind of guy. Just great sounds, nothing superfluous. Everything he does rocks really hard, and he's responsible for some of the greatest records in my collection. Raising Hell, Run DMC, Electric, The Cult. What was that AC/DC one he did? Was it Ball Breaker? Not sure. Anyway, I love Rick Rubin. I think he's brilliant. And he recently spoke about the different creative processes of vocalists like Eminem, Jay-Z, Anthony Kiedis, and he did all that on Joe Rogan's podcast. So I'm going to look at that little clip and then we can discuss it together. Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Do, 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 do. So, a little bit more about Rick Rubin. He's an American record producer and former co-president of Columbia Records. Good little label, some solid releases on that imprint. With the Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, Public Enemy and Run DMC, Rubin helped popularize hip-hop music. He also produced a number of top-selling artists from a variety of other genres, including heavy metal, for example, Slayer, System of a Down and Metallica, alternative rock like The Strokes, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Weezer and The Cult, the aforementioned The Cult, and country, including Johnny Cash and The Chicks. I don't know about The Chicks. What's The Chicks? Anyway, in 2007, MTV called him the most important producer of the last 20 years. So that's, yeah, from 87 onward. Yeah, that makes sense. And the same year, Rubin appeared on Time's 100 most influential people in the world. Rick's, I'm just going to call him Rick from now on. Rick's biggest trademark as a producer has been a stripped down sound which involves eliminating production elements such as string sections, backing vocals and reverb, and instead having naked vocals and bare instrumentation. I feel like there's definitely some reverb and indeed some delay going on that Cult record. Have you listened to like the first chords of okay, I'm not going to go on too long about that, but the guitar itself is naked sounding over in one speaker. In the other speaker you can hear like a slight delayed reverb, like the sound of the room fed into the other side, and presumably the same thing's happening in the other direction. I love that record. It's fucking awesome. Okay, let's watch this footage and talk about the majesty of Rick Rubin in the context of the varying processes of the many vocalists he's worked with.
The different ways of approaching comedy, it's got a parallel with music, right? I mean, there's got to be some artists that, you know, they just want to riff. They want to figure it out on the fly. They want to do it all, you know, almost off the top of their head. And then there's other artists where every single word is gone over and meticulously analyzed and pieced together.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong way, and just have to find your way, and whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with artists who do it completely different ways.
I love the way his the tint of his sunglasses complements perfectly the curtains behind him. Do you think that he looked at the Joe Rogan Experience and the sort of the background that he'd be expected to sit in front of and chose his glasses according to that? Probably. He's a producer. That's the sort of thing they think about.
You know, you'll see like Eminem he's always writing in a book, always writing all the time. And he's always got notebooks writing. And I asked him, it's like, are these all, you know, rhymes to use? He's like, no. It's like 99% of what I write I'll never use, just to stay engaged in the process.
Aha, now this is something that I talk about really. Like, so the idea of just having a notebook and writing stuff down, I think is a bit similar to the butterfly net that I've discussed in one of the comments episodes. I think when you're writing songs, you should have a guitar in your hand the whole time, even if you're not, writing a song in the sense that that's your objective. Just have the guitar in there, because you never know. I genuinely believe that there's stuff, an unexplained creative force around us, and songs and ideas will present themselves to you because they actually exist. They're actually in the sky. Yeah, I know it sounds like a fucking load of hippie nonsense, but I actually happen to believe that.
Jay-Z doesn't write anything down.
Yeah.
And he just listens to the beat and hums, and then goes on the mic, 20 minutes later, and just says a whole complicated verse. I don't know how he can remember it, much less have just written it.
So I think he's partly talking about the writing process as opposed to, vocal delivery. In this section here, he's sort of talking about the way ideas form and the way they, from inception to the point at which you're ready to record them. That's the section of time that he's talking about. And I've seen people do exactly what he's describing there. So like it would be, somebody would have like a... And then it'd go... I know. Oh, my mind. Oh, there's a song coming. That's, I'm not suggesting that that's how Richard Ashcroft came up with that one there. But you see how like mnemonic kind of just sounds really that you make when you hear a piece of music can slowly kind of, you chisel away at that and then find the actual words in the middle. I've seen people do that in real time, and I've looked at it and I've gone, okay, so he's got crazy. He's not going to rhyme that with baby, is he? Oh, fuck, he is. So that's not something that works for me because of that stupid dislike of crazy and baby that I have. But I think it's that way of chiseling away at mnemonic utterances will often lead to crazy baby rhyming.
Like when we were recording 99 Problems, right. I played the beat for him. He likes the beat. And then he says, okay, just keep playing it. And then he sits in the back of the control room on the couch, and you just hear him humming like,
That would be annoying, wouldn't it? Like, Jay-Z, will you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to concentrate on this beat. Fuck's sake. Always with the humming.
Did you ever ask him these things that he's saying? Has he said them before? Does he?
He's not. I know he hasn't, because it's happening live in the room in this moment.
Yeah, I think Joe Rogan's skeptical, I think, understandably, when that sort of magic and alchemy is occurring before your very eyes. There is a temptation to think, yeah, he's practiced that, hasn't he? I always think that about slam poetry. I haven't seen a lot of slam poetry, but it feels like there are certain sort of tropes and couplets that must have been pre-prepared. I think I'm with Joe Rogan on this one. There's probably just a little bit of, not cheating, what's the other word? No, the word's cheating.
Even though it's live in the moment, it's not like things that he's thought of before?
No.
It's just all off the top?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
that
incredible.
Moment, it's insane. Never
That's
saw anything
incredible.
like it.
That's incredible. Yeah, he's famous for that. He's famous for having it all in his head.
What would happen if Jay-Z fell down the stairs and bumped his head? That's actually one of the things that the other preeminent producer, Roy Thomas Baker, used to say to me, is like... I think he actually asked the question, what would you do if I fell down the stairs and bumped my head? Because like more or less every part of the production process is stored somewhere in Roy Thomas Baker's memory banks. He really ought to write several memoirs, because you just never know what tomorrow holds. Maybe there will be a tricky section of staircase or a carpet tack that's raised, and then you'll stub your toe on it. The momentum of your upper body, there's nothing to impede that. You don't grab the barrier in time, fall down the stairs, and if you're Jay-Z, you've forgotten all of your the words. Or he might do that thing where he bumps his head and then he sort of starts talking backwards or something. But then you could just turn the tape over, record it backwards, and then flip it. Yeah, you're welcome, Rick Rubin. Fail safe.
We just made 2 new albums with the Chili Peppers. The second one is just coming out now, I think. But the first one came out like 6 months ago. But 2 double albums.
2 double albums released 6 months apart. That's lunacy.
And the way Anthony works is he'll hear the music and he'll sing along, but he'll sing along with an idea of a melody, but he doesn't yet have words, and just sing nonsense words and just sing along, making up nonsense words automatically, real time, and then listens back and says, oh, okay, this phrase in this spot sounds good, and this phrase in this spot sounds good.
It does imply somewhat that the overall sort of thematic content of songs that are written in that way are based on nothing whatsoever, just the whimsical bleeps, regurgitations and belches, as it were, that happen. I'm sure there's a time and a place for these processes. I mean, sometimes it is important to just sing what's natural, I think, and often that probably will emerge bleary-eyed, blinking into the world as a unshaped kind of set of nonsense sounds, and then there's a simple case of writing a poem to replace those syllables, isn't it? You would hope. Otherwise it's just fucking nonsense.
It's like a puzzle where you fill in the rest. It's like you don't necessarily have an idea of what the song's going to be about, or you might not even know what the song's about until you finish.
We did that. This reminds me of when we recorded Frankie singing Conquerors. Frankie Poulin, the bass player from The Darkness, stepped up and sang lead vocals on Conquerors, which was on Last of Our Kind, I think, the Darkness record. And he was like, I was like, what? And I was like, oh, okay. So then I had to go in and decipher his sounds, because nobody knew, including himself, what it was that he'd sung. A jewel is only... And then I put in the counter line, some coal that stuck to its job, or a diamond is only some coal that stuck to its job. I don't know, I think maybe that's a similar process to what Rick Rubin's describing there, where you sort of get some bits that are audibly recognisable as words, and then you just tell the rest of the story with the rest of the spaces that you have to fill. It sounds like more of a process to determine a melody than a lyric, though.
You might not even know after the song's finished what it's about. You might not know for years what it's about, because it's like a dream. It comes from the subconscious.
That's really interesting.
It's a great way to work. It's a great way to write.
Wow, the subconscious. Okay, now, whenever I've tried to do that, it's got really dark really fucking quickly, which isn't my job. But if there are any goths watching that would like me to help them with some stream of consciousness lyrics that take you into some of the darkest places you've ever been, then yeah, hit me up.
Just like participate with what's going on in a free way.
So even when you just said free way, there's 2 ways to look at that, isn't there? No rules, baby, no rules.
And then listen back to what you did and look for clues. Look for where is the connective tissue here? Are there any things here that sound like they belong there?
Wow, that's awesome. Really inspiring stuff. Just shows you. Sometimes music really is just it's just pulling stuff out of your ass, or that's what people say, but in fact, I think it's pulling stuff out of the air. Yeah. Okay. I'm a hippie. There, I said it. Justin Hawkins rides again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, watch one of these 2 videos, and just believe in the magic of the universe. I think there's songs and poems and, I don't know, it's just full of ideas, and it exists in the ether. It's our job to grasp at it and nurture it, or them, depending on how many of them there are, I suppose. Nice one, guys. What am I talking about? Who knows? See you later.